Okay, gentlemen, it's 8 o'clock. Let's call the meeting of the EDA Board of Directors, June 28, 2019. Adoption of agenda additions and deletions.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I would like to propose 3 additions to the agenda. Number 1 would be a motion authorizing the chair to arrange a joint work session with the Front Royal Town Council and the Warren County Board of Supervisors. Number 2 would be a motion requesting staff to prepare notebooks containing summaries of all individual projects and properties. And number 3 would be a motion requesting staff to prepare a summary outline form that can be used for all projects and properties that involve the EDA and other parties, explaining who and what role in each project.
Okay, all right, we will bring that up under new business.
You need a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
Okay, is there any other additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to adopt, or I should say, I'd like to make a motion to adopt an additional item on the agenda, and that is the discussion annual resolution of adopting a leadership and delivery framework for the organization, which can be further discussed in the new business section.
Okay, we have one more addition to new business. Anything else, gentlemen? All those in favor of the agenda is amended, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, approval of the minutes of the last meeting, May 24th, 2019. They're in your packet. Anyone find any corrections or? One motion to adopt.
Looking at page 8, paragraph 2, it indicates as I read that I'm looking at insurance policies, and I don't think that's right. I wonder if this should be Mr. Stanley rather than Mr. Daly or something in here. It looks like I'm looking at insurance.
I think that was supposed to be Mr. Parsons was looking at insurance policies, and we'll be bidding out policies in the future because we had discussed
So
that.
that should just be indicating Mr. Parsons, okay. Now on page 6, Alan Fox. Now in the second paragraph under business retention.
Yeah, if it's not Alan Fox.
Well, that's what I'm about to do.
Yeah, Greg Drescher's.
Yeah, so very good.
Thank you.
The only change I saw is you have Caitlin Jordan appearing twice, and there's only one Caitlin Jordan. So, I guess you have on there present and others present.
Oh, nice.
Okay, we have a motion to accept. Now, do you want to amend that, Tom?
As amended.
As amended?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor of accepting the board minutes as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Financials presented at board meeting. Now, is that in their envelope? Or do we have something else?
Yeah, there's financial documents in your envelopes. We have a statement of cash accounts, listing of loans, the micro loans, and then the rental properties.
There were 10 envelopes.
are we looking at?
I'm sorry.
First one, you can walk through maybe.
We can. So the first one, the cash account, our United Banking checking account, that's the account from which we pay our loan debt service payments. The first bank checking account, that's our operations account that we pay all of our utilities and payroll and other expenses from. And we just got reimbursement from the county for debt service on the ball drop building that we just deposited in there, so that greatly bolstered that account balance. United Bank IRP account are the 4 loans through the USDA program that we're managing right now. And then we've got the 2 CDs from United Bank, and the maturity date on those are June and July of next year. Any questions on those? Okay, if you want, we can look at the schedule of notes payment, or note payments. Those are all of our loans. First Bank and Trust, we have the 2 loans. One's the IT federal loan that they're making their payments on, and then we send that payment on to the bank. The other is the line of credit. Those are the 2 to First Bank and Trust.
And that's 9.8 million. Is that a particular project of some?
It's several projects that were lumped together in this loan. And Carolyn still should be here around 9 o'clock,
Okay.
so we can go over those in detail at that time.
That line of credit was up to $17 million, and it was supposed to be bridge financing for the short term. For the new market tax projects that didn't come to fruition. So basically, we were doing short-term financing through First Bank and Trust until we were able to close on the new market tax projects. The new market tax projects never closed. So basically, that's the amount that's still outstanding under that line of credit, is $9.8 million.
So, the IT federal, and I'm fine if we want to wait till 9 o'clock and defer this item and come back.
That's what I was thinking. We'll wait till Carolyn gets here.
Maybe just
Do you want to
defer
do
this
that?
this item and come back. I've got some questions about what exactly is involved in each one.
All right, if that's all right with everybody, we'll wait till Carolyn gets here.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the county administrator update, Doug Stanley. I think Doug's on vacation.
Thanks.
All right. Okay. Town manager update, Bill Walsh.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I submitted my report early, so it should be in your packet. So I won't go over every item on my report. I won't read it to you verbatim, but I do want to go over a few items of interest that have changed since my last report. In the planning and zoning activities, I wanted to focus on a few things. One is some progress that we've made on the community development block grant. We have sent out our first RFP for the first set of facade projects on Main Street, and they're due on July 5th. Also, as part of this project, we've been able to launch our new website for the visitor center called Discover Front Royal. We've also completed the draft of the downtown parking study, and it is also in the process of being revised by the Planning Commission and the project management team. What's important here is that the data collected supports the conclusion that there is adequate number of parking spaces downtown overall, but there's just not enough adequate public parking. We find that lack of public parking on the Jackson side of Main Street. So we will have a final product on that probably within a month. Happy Creek Knolls Section 4 in May, the Planning Commission approved for 33 residential units. And then miscellaneous, Sheets continues to work on engineering for a gas station on North Shenandoah Avenue, where the Shenandoah Motel is located. A CrossFit gym has opened up at 35 East Jackson Street. And there's actually 2 mural projects for downtown that has been submitted that will be reviewed at the bar this June. On town projects, on the Route 522 corridor project, there's really no change at the present. We are currently working on a PER, preliminary engineering review for this project. We're hoping that this project will be completed in August. On Happy Creek Road Phase 2 project, we are currently working on an RFP to get out the design for the road. Unfortunately, our design that we had for the project was dated back in the 80s. It's in metrics, and we only have hard copies, no soft copies. So obviously we need to refresh that design, and that's what we're going to be working on. The good thing in here is that with a complete design, that will help our scoring when we go to VDOT for funding. So that's kind of where we're angling for funding. The first phase 2 of the project is $5.7 million, and we hope in a potential start date of 2023. Main Street extension, the striping and the signage were installed, and last week we had a walkthrough to develop just a few punch list items for the road. The project is approximately 98% complete overall. The installation of the bioretention unit is the only item left to complete for the project, but unfortunately we're still working on trying to get a 42-inch drain pipe completed across the IT federal project. The Royal Phoenix site, for the lift station in itself, the subcontractor is still trying to get an electrical permit for the county for the installation of controls for the pumps. Project is about 80% complete overall. Remaining items is running electrical lines from Main Street to the pump station, which staff is out there currently right now working on that. Installing electrical controls and getting the pump station certified. Obviously there's no rush on this at this moment due to the fact that construction continues on building 1. And the last thing I'd like to talk about is the water main improvements that we're working on currently to improve redundancy and fire flows. The town is making improvements to the existing water main on West 14th and Shenandoah. A new 10-inch main is being installed in the middle of West 14th currently. This will replace an existing 6-inch line, which will provide greater fire flows and eliminate any outdated lines. Also, with this project on North Shenandoah, we'll be making new connections that will be made between the 12-inch running along the west side and the water mains on 15th, 17th, and 18th. These mains in these cross streets currently have a connect to only the 6-inch. We got a 6-inch on one side of North Shenandoah and a 12-inch on the other. This will provide additional flow capacity in all 3 cross streets, as well as better connection to the existing 6 and 12. And then last but not least, Westminster Highway project was completed. I might have made that announcement last month, but this will be removed from the project list. Like I said, I didn't cover everything, but I covered the highlights, and I'm here to answer any questions.
I have a question. We've been talking about the lift station for months. Why is there a holdup with getting, if the holdup is for getting an electrical permit, what seems to be the problem with that?
That I don't know. I'd have to get down into the details. There's just really no rush for it right now. I mean, we have so many other things that we're working on, but I don't know the exact answer what the issue is with the county on their permit. I'll have to follow up on that.
Just a question on Happy Creek Phase 2. What section of the road is that? From the end of the sidewalk further out?
Yeah, it's just right past Shenandoah Shores Road.
Okay.
Is where it terminates before it starts with Phase 3. And it starts right there where we stopped at Phase 1, right past Wakeland Court.
So it'll go out to Shenandoah Shores?
It will go out to Shenandoah Shores Road. We originally, just recap last year, we tried through Smart Scale funding to get Phase 2 and Phase 3, which is about $16.9 million. We did not score well at all. So this year we're trying to improve our scoring by getting a completed, fresh design for the road.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Joe. Executive Director update, Doug Parsons.
Okay, well, I want to start by welcoming our 2 new board members, Greg Harold and Jeffrey Browne. Look forward to working with you guys and the rest of the board to move the organization forward. I think over the last 4 weeks, we've continued to make progress in defining our financial picture and our operations and an analysis of our properties. Over the last month, I've given status reports to the Board of Supervisors and County Council, and work closely with the town and Joe Waltz, his staff, Jeremy Camp, and others on various projects and so forth. And I want to thank the town and the county for all their support in helping me get acclimated to the job. Under financial management, we're working with Cherry Beckert and Hoggle and Willis, Carolyn Smith, and Yalpine and Barber to move forward with our fiscal year 18 audit. Also, we're through our outreach to our delinquent USDA microloan clients, which you have a list of. We've been able to get 3 of those businesses brought up to date on our list there. So we're going after the folks who are delinquent through a process that we've established where we're reaching out to them by phone, then by letter, and then if necessary, we're taking legal action to get caught up in that regard. For our properties, I've been in touch. I've met personally with our tenants at 404 Fairground Roads, the East Main Street properties, and Progress Drive to assess their future plans and how we can work with them going forward. There was an accident at the apartment building on 514 East Main Street where a tenant pulled into the apartment building and his brakes failed and he ran his truck into the building. We engaged Dan Hotech to provide an assessment of the damage there. And after that, we reached out to LCW contractors to provide an estimate. And that estimate is $20,850. He said it'll take 20 days from the time that we give the order to execute the work. I've reached out to the insurance company and sent them both Dan Hotech's assessment and this estimate, and I'm waiting to hear back from them to to make sure that they're going to cover it and it looks satisfactory to them. So the tenants are currently staying at the Quality Inn. I've been assured by the insurance company that we'll be reimbursed for paying for their stay there because they would be out on the street if it wasn't for us putting them up out there. So we're glad to be able to do that for them. For the WCEDA office at 400 Kendrick Drive here, we've worked with the town of Front Royal's electric department and a private electrician to assess the solar electrical infrastructure that we have. We have the panels on the roof and the revenue meters downstairs. We're currently getting an assessment of the value of that and then how that works. We did have one gentleman come by yesterday and give us a free assessment. He said on the extreme high side, the system would be worth about $250,000. He said it's a very good system, and whoever, I guess it was Earthright Energy that installed it, they did a very good job in installing it, and it's an above average system. He said it should have about a 35 to 40 year service life. He said it's producing, he believes from his calculations, about $13,000 a year in value through the electricity that it produces. But right now we don't have the ability to accurately bill our individual tenants for the solar power. And so that's something that we're going to have to work on if we're going to keep the system. But we also have roof leaks here on this building. In order to fix those leaks, the solar panels will have to come up in order for the roofing people to be able to do the work on the roof. So he's going to get us a written assessment, and I'll share that with the board when I get that. As far as prospects, on the 426 Ball Drive building, since the May 24th board meeting, we've had 3 new prospects for the building. We now have 8 total, 4 through the Virginia Economic Development Partnership, 2 are through brokers, and 1 is from a national real estate firm. And then the very latest one, a couple of days ago, we got one through through a development company in Arlington. The regional law firm has expressed interest in Front Royal. I've introduced them to Felicia, and I believe Felicia's been working with them to help locate here in town. Virginia Analytics, the wine testing laboratory that we said was going to go into Suite C, a couple days after the board meeting last month, they turned around and said that they're going to have to delay their plans because they've had some other issues that they have to address first, so that's been delayed. And then we also have a prospect from the Front Royal Warren County Airport through the Virginia Economic Development Partnership as well. The site characterization project for our 2 new board members, this is a project we're working on with VDP to analyze the sites that we have in the county that are 25 contiguous acres or more. We have 4 here that they're looking at, which is Avtex, Happy Creek, Stevens, and the Front Royal Warren County Industrial Park. And what they're doing there is they're assessing those sites. They're asking us for any due diligence that's currently existing. I've given all of that to them, and they're going to assign a tier rating, which will be used by them as they get prospects to help disseminate information on sites on a statewide basis for clients. And what we're going to want to do is once we get that rating, then we're going to want to work to try to increase that tier rating for all of our sites so that each of them can be as competitive as possible. And that'll be done through getting phase 1 environmental assessments, wetland studies, geotechnical reports, and possibly archaeological reports, and also surveys. We're also working with Queen Consulting on updating our website. I've also consulted with the State Development Office on this to get a feel for how well laid out our website is. It does have a lot of stale information, so we're working on getting that fixed. They said that our site in general, the framework is pretty good, but we need to have a platform that's more friendly for tablets and apps, or mobile devices. So that's something that we can work with Queen on. Also working with the Northern Shenandoah Valley Regional Commission and others to research some current data for the website. So that work continues. Front Royal Police Department, Leech Run Parkway. I've been working with BJ Wilson at the town of Front Royal to determine the total principal and interest so that they can go out and get permanent financing, and we can get that project closed out and get that construction loan off our books and get it into permanent financing with the town. Leech Run Parkway, the road has been open, it's my understanding, for I believe 2 years now. But there continues to be punch list items on that road as it relates to erosion in drainage areas into the bioretention ponds. That there seems to be a professional disagreement between the engineer and the construction company on how to properly fix those areas to keep erosion from happening. There's a DEQ report out, and I've spoken with Pennoni engineers, and I asked them to provide me a summary document of what their position is on the situation. I'm going to do the same thing for civil branch construction, and then also talk with the DEQ about the report to see exactly what needs to take place. But this is a project that's drawn on for, looks like 1.5 years, 2 years now. We want to get this put to bed. The revised personnel policy, that is still under review in Dan Whitman's office, so hopefully we'll be able to have a look at that at the next board meeting. And then finally,
Yes, it'll be ready next July meeting.
okay. And then working with the town of Front Royal, I've met and worked with Robert Browne, the town's engineer, to discuss several issues. And we're working to try to resolve some of those outstanding issues on the West Main Street project, which is that drain line. I think there was just a disagreement there between IT Federal and us about how far that line is supposed to go and who's supposed to pay for it. And I've also worked with Mayor Kedrick to talk with him about some different ideas for a legitimate construction loan for the Afton Inn project. And then I've also been working with Robbie Boyer in the utilities in the water and sewer department to get the information we need to update the State Development Office's website for the sites that we have, to make sure that we have the water and sewer capacities and line sizes and pressures listed properly on that website. So that's what I have. Is there any questions?
Can you elaborate on the airport?
On the airport?
Yeah.
This is a secret squirrel project from the state. It's just called Project ET. I don't know who they are or what they do. That's all we know so far. They're looking for existing hangar space or 2 to 3 acres of ground on which to build a hangar for the company. So,
For the UFO?
it could be for UFOs, I'm not sure. But anyway, a lot of these A lot of these projects we get from the State Development Office have a code name. They don't tell us a lot about the metrics on the project up front or who they are in certain cases. And they just put out an RFP, they ask for certain information, and then we give them that information. And then if the project continues on, we eventually learn more and more about the project. So,
Any update on the insurance claim that was made, the 20,000 Stokes for the auto accident? Any chance that that money doesn't have to be spent on actually rehabbing the building?
I'm not sure. That's a question I'm going to have to ask the insurance company. I've got a couple of calls into the claims agent, a lady named Kyra, and I'm waiting for her to get back with me to see what the options are there.
Mr. Parsons, related to what Mr. Browne said regarding the apartments, what is the duration of the commitment that the insurance company has for housing the displaced people in the Quality Inn?
It's my understanding that they will reimburse us for the housing costs at the Quality Inn until the work is done.
Do we have that in writing?
I do have an email from them that says that they will reimburse us for those costs.
Okay. Regarding the scope of the work due to the damage, do we understand exactly as a group what has been impacted as it relates to the structure? I mean, I know a car hit, but...
Right, as far as the details.
Exactly.
I do have those reports, and if you like, I can email them to you.
Okay. Third question on that, that's a very old building. I walked that building outside yesterday. Is there any fear that there's going to be existing conditions or a depreciation factor weighed in when that claim was made? Because I know that when something happens to my home, I don't get the full value, replacement value. There's always a depreciation factor associated with it.
I don't know yet. That's something else I can talk to Kyra about.
Okay. Switching gears to the solar system, you mentioned that we do not have any sub-metering for this building, that it's all tied into the main electric, and the main electric is distributed through all the rental offices, or all the offices and all the tenants.
Right. We have 2 master meters, one for each side of the building. We do not have the ability right now to accurately bill our tenants for either the town electric or the solar.
Okay.
And so what we've just simply not billed our tenants for that town electric until we can get the metering straightened out, because we don't want to guess and ask our tenants to pay a bill that isn't accurate.
Do we have any cap on those electrical costs that you're aware of?
A cap?
Yes.
Not-
Your lease comes with $500 worth of electric service. Anything above and beyond that is on you.
Yeah, to my knowledge, I don't think that's how the lease reads.
Okay. Getting back to the VEDP, or moving on to the VEDP, in their analysis, do they give us the highest and best use for the property that is being evaluated? And will they recommend a type of industry and a market for that type of industry?
I'm sorry, you mean look for a particular building?
Yeah,
or
well, they
site?
say, hey, this property is ideally suited, the highest and best use is ideally suited for automotive manufacturing or IT or some other type of good or service or widget making, who knows?
They don't do it in that regard.
Okay.
What I did do is, in your board pack, I did have them research the average number of jobs and capital investment for buildings between 50 and 75,000 square feet over the last 9 years.
Okay.
And you can see that information in your packets there.
So it's not a market study where they come in and say, hey, this particular locality is ideally situated for X, Y, Z industry.
Not so much.
Okay, that's fine, and that's a fair answer.
You're talking about the VED analysis,
Yes.
VED analysis.
Yes.
He's talking about what Joe Hines was gonna do.
Oh.
That's what he wants, that's what he's
Is
asking.
that a separate issue?
Is he separate? 'Cause
Okay.
I don't think you're talking about the same thing.
All right, so then,
A tier rating, that's what Joe Hines is working on. So the State Economic Development Partnership contracted with a gentleman named Joe Hines, who's an engineer, and he is overseeing the collection of the data for that project. And that's geotechnical reports, phase 1 environmental stuff. And they're just rating by tier, but they're not making recommendations to communities as far as what the best or highest use of a particular property is.
Okay, that's fine.
So if I could just add to correct me if I'm wrong, but what the state is gonna end up with is a list of properties around the state, and they're gonna rate them from, you heard this, from tier 1 to tier 5.
Tier 1 being the best
No,
property.
Tier 5,
Five being the best.
5's best.
5 being the best.
And you ultimately get to tier 4. Tier 5 is everything's ready to go. It's
You can move in next year.
Perfect, okay,
And
construction.
okay.
And that then what they were going to do when a prospect calls into the state, contacts the state and says, I want to be able to go in what is ready to move in 6 months. They have a list of all the properties across the state that meet that. Probably that's a tier 3 or tier 4, someplace in between there, is my guess. And they'll have this list, and then if we have a property on the list, then they'll refer to it. Now, that's what I understood from it.
It is, and a tier 3, you know, the difference between a tier 3 and a tier 4, for instance, is a tier 4 would have all those reports done and they're all recent. So like a phase 1 environmental, the shelf life on that is really only 12 to 18 months. Or if some other activity has happened around that building on adjacent property, you know, that would trigger the need for a new one. But the soil borings, you know, those last a long time because generally speaking, the soil's not going to change unless again there's been some disturbance. And the same with the archaeological and so forth.
Okay.
But it's the phase 1s usually that need updated.
Gotcha, okay. The final question I have, and I apologize because I'm new, is there any exposure that we have on the Leeches Run Parkway with the drainage issue or with the permit or the punch issue? And do we have adequate retainage on the subcontractor, GC, and or engineer to make sure that our risk is minimized and that work is going to be done?
We do. We have, and I believe this is correct, it's around $93,000 of retainage. One of the options we would have is if we can't break through the impasse that we have between the two engineers' opinions on how to do the work or what to do, we can simply negotiate with Grand Civil and say, okay, we're going to go ahead and use somebody else and then negotiate the retainage with them and
Okay,
break with them and get someone else to complete the work as prescribed.
understood. Thank you. That's all I have.
The Stokes building, as I understand it, these people that are relocated are not our tenants. They're actually the tenants of our tenant.
Okay, so the primary leasee for both buildings is Jeff and Jenny Lesser, and they manage the relations with the residential tenants there. We do have a direct lease with one of the tenants. The other two tenants have been there for over 20 years, as I understand it from Jeff and Jenny, and we do not have an existing lease in place with those two.
Because we don't receive any rents from this.
No, we do not directly receive rents from the residential tenants. We are supposed to receive just a rental payment from Jeff and Jenny Lesser. That's the way the lease was set up.
And they haven't paid anything since January.
I'm not sure the exact date, but they haven't paid anything in a while. Correct.
And we're not allowed to lease property for housing purposes.
It states in Virginia code that an economic development authority is not supposed to operate or run a business, and they are not supposed to operate or run residential housing. So it's a deal that should have never happened.
So we need to be very cautious in spending any money to house or relocate people that are not our tenants, that by state law, we're not allowed to have there. Now, if they get insurance money there, that's different. But that's between, we're kind of going somewhere where I'm not sure where we get out of it, and I don't think we've been talking for 6 months that we want to get out of the building and sell it. So we shouldn't be looking at putting any more money into going any further into remodeling it.
This is all insurance money. Oh, yeah.
But we don't have any insurance money though. And I agree with what you're saying, sir. We ought to get something from the insurance as to how much they're going to pay and notify these tenants who are not our tenants that they need to be making arrangements. They can't stay there forever, and they should not go back to that building. Because we're not supposed to be, state law says we're not allowed to lease it.
So let's go back in time to 2014. That wasn't the EDA at the time, but that's when we discussed buying the Stokes Mart property from Bernie Stokes. And so the property was the Stokes Mart, Mart, which is now Main Street Market. And then this four-bedroom, I think it's 4 one-bedroom apartment building. It came together as one purchase. So the question did come up, under 15.24905, EDAs can't do multifamily housing. So my recollection is that Jennifer talked to the state and they said as long as you're actively marketing to lease with an option to purchase, or since then all our leases have an option to purchase, then it's okay because you're not going to, and also that's why I think the rent always went to the leasee. So the subtenant's rent went to the leasee. I think that was one of the reasons that we did that. But like I said, I wasn't there at that time. I mean, I was in the meetings, but I wasn't representing EDA.
So
That's my understanding.
if something happens to the primary tenant and they have subtenants in their building, then by default, by proxy, we become the landlord. So,
And we can go after those rent payments as well. We can intercept those rent payments from the subtenants that should be going to Jenny Lester. We can intercept them and say, no, they should start from us because you're behind on.
But we're not supposed to take the sublease because this was 5 years ago when it was the lease to purchase. So by 5 years, they should be going somewhere and we should be out of the picture.
Because the original lease with B&G Goods, I think it was a 2-year lease with option to purchase. So that building should have gone in 2016. And then we worked with a number of other tenants trying to get a lease, at least 4 or 5. I have 4 or 5 draft leases in my office. And then it wasn't until Jenny Lester came that we then had another lease with an option to purchase. So for a while, the building just sat, and no one was in there for probably 2 years, maybe a year and a half at least.
Yeah, I think it was vacant a year ago, January. Would that be right? Joe, would that be about right? January of 18, that building was still vacant. And it was just about that time when they moved in a year and a half ago.
Honestly, I don't remember the exact date, but I think you're right around that same time.
Sometime
Like 17 or
around there.
18, yeah.
I think
As close as I remember from my experience.
something like that. So we need to be moving out of the building.
Yep. Any further discussion on that matter? We move to old business. We have one item of old business. If you look at your sheet, traditional meeting of the EDA has always been the 4th Friday of each month. And we are presenting a resolution here to establish those 4 Fridays except for the November, December that hits the holidays. So we have one right in the middle of December, the 13th.
Mr. Chairman, on October 25th, both myself and my assistant are at a conference in Williamsburg. So I requested we could switch that date, or otherwise you could go without counsel or have outside counsel come in, but I can't make that meeting date, October 25th.
Could we promise not to talk about it?
That's fine. Last time I wasn't at a meeting, some stuff happened that shouldn't have, so I just warn you.
Could we move that meeting 1 week to the first Saturday, the first Friday rather of November? I'm just asking to,
That would be okay with me. Does anyone have an
Work for
objection to that
everybody?
one due to the, so we're gonna go whatever that first Friday is in November for the.
Which is November 1st.
Does it come out to be the first?
It'll be November 1st, yes.
is that okay?
Thank you.
Oh, you can't do that, okay.
What's that?
You're booked out that far. You cannot.
Yeah, 2 conflicts, so that would be
So how
acceptable.
about moving it till Friday before the 25th? Everybody make that?
I have
somebody's gonna be conflicted, no matter what we do now, but
Would you be available by phone if necessary?
Sure, I mean, I'd be in, let's see, seminars start at 9, so yeah, no, I could be available by phone.
How about
I
that?
could skip the first, whatever the first seminar is, hopefully it's ethics or something, you know.
all right, so we go back to October 25th. With council available by phone if needed. Okay, anybody want to,
I so move
make a motion?
to adopt the schedule.
We have a motion
I'll second.
and a second. Any more further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay. We are now director comments. What director is that? That's you? Anybody? Anybody else have any comments they wish to bring forward meeting?
Yes,
I would like to commend the staff, particularly Doug and Gretchen and Carolyn, that is here yet. This is the most information, particularly the financial information I've seen in quite a while, as long as I've been on the mission, and I feel like we're moving progress now, starting to get a handle on this. And I appreciate the hard work that we need to try and organize this for us.
Yes, it is organized, no doubt. Thank you very much.
So if I could speak up for a moment, I would like to encourage the board members to reacquaint themselves with, and just to give themselves a refresher, if they haven't done so recently, to really look under the state code that guides the EDA. There's a lot of chapters as it relates to how we function, how we operate, what we do, and how we do it. A lot of good information in there. I've gone through it, haven't gone through everything, but I think it might be a nice idea for everybody to, at some point, just scan through there again and make sure that we're operating within the confines by which we're operating in. Next comment I wanted to make is, I just want to thank Doug. This is a really turbulent time, so I just want to thank you for the level of professionalism. I read the comments that Mr. Teacher made during your council meeting the other day, and this is a difficult opportunity that we're working with, and we appreciate all of your strength and what you're bringing to the group here. And then finally, being a new board member, the firm that I work with and have been working with for the last 3 years has really gone through a cultural change and a business model change. And we were a $700 million a year company building healthcare facilities. We've dropped down to about $400 million a year. We had people there that have been with the company for 35, 40 years. And things were done a certain way, and they were resistant to change, and they were resistant to changing market conditions and what actually needed to happen to survive in this world. There was a required reading for all of the managers, and it was called Switch. I brought 4 copies here today, and I made the public presentation to the DOS that present these to the directors. So I wanted to give 4 copies away to Mr. Patterson, one of the more senior directors, Mr. Blanton, Mr. Drummond, and Mr. Daly. Okay?
Thank you.
When you're done reading that, if you could pass that along to the other directors, this book is invaluable. This will really help center and straighten the perception of an organization that's going through a tremendous amount of change. So I hope you read that, and I hope you're able to take a lot from it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Of course.
Any other comments?
Along with Ed's comments, I don't know if you can address those further later, but I think before we meet with the Board of Supervisors and the County Council about where the roads and stuff are, we need to have a meeting ourselves and have a vision statement. We need to outline exactly where we think we need to go, and then get their input, rather than just going and having it, we've got to do it.
It's in the motion.
Any further comments?
I was at a Front Royal Business Forum meeting and was really pleased that Doug's meeting with the town officials was really well received by the staff and local businesses. I was expecting to hear moans and groans and another thing, and it has been very well received, so.
Thank you. No doubt we hired a good man. He's doing the job. Any other comments? We have a closed session coming up. Who would care to lead us into that?
I can do it.
All right.
Virginia Code 2.2/3711A3, discussion of consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose or of the disposition of publicly held real property for discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body. I further move that the discussion be limited to property located on Main Street and Fairgrounds Road. Virginia Code Section 2.23711A5, discussion concerning a prospective business or industry or expansion of an existing business or industry when no previous announcement has been made of the businesses or industry's interest in locating or expanding its facilities in the community. I further move that the discussion be limited to businesses to be located on the Stevens Industrial Park, Main Street, Happy Creek area, and/or Fairground Road. Virginia Code Section 2.23711A7, consultation with legal counsel and briefing by staff members of consultants pertaining to actual or probable litigation, where such consultation or briefing in open meeting would adversely affect the negotiating or litigating posture of the public body. I further move that such discussion be limited to the case of Industrial Development Authority versus Jennifer McDonald et al. And the town of Front Royal versus the IDA. Virginia Code Section 2.23711A8, consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel. I further move that discussions be limited to the discussion of loans, accounting, and debt service issues.
Second.
I think we'll have a roll call vote.
Patterson, aye.
Harold, aye.
Browne, aye.
Daily, aye.
Latin, aye. Okay, we're closed session now.
Motion by Daly, seconded by Drummond. Following vote, the board certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under sections 2.2-3711 sub A, sub 3, sub A, sub 5, sub A, sub 7, sub A, sub 8 of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion for which the closed meeting was convened, were heard, discussed, and considered in the meeting of the public body. Daily, aye.
Latin, aye.
Patterson, aye.
Harold, aye.
Browne, aye.
Okay, gentlemen, we are into new business, and we have a few little,
Two motions from the closed session.
all right, from the closed session.
I would like to make a motion to authorize marketing for sale on 426 Browne Drive property for $5,750,000 cash, with any fees and commissions to be included as additional.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
I I would like to make a motion to authorize the executive director to solicit proposals from brokers for the marketing and sale of 404 Fairground Road and 506-514 East Main Street.
Second. Have a motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, those are two motions out of the closed. Now we're going to go to new business. We will skip item 1 and go to item 2, motion to amend the Freedom of Information Act policy. That's in our packets, gentlemen.
And I believe we had one amendment. Gretchen, did you make that amendment to, regarding the staff time, hourly time?
Yes,
Is that in the version they have?
That was in the package, yeah.
yes, it was corrected before printing.
Okay, good.
Quick question. Is this reflect the same policy as the county policy? Same
Yes.
charges and everything? Okay, thank you.
Yes, basically, well, the county, it's the first 15 minutes of searching is free, where this is the first 30 minutes is free. And then we charge for staff time for the lowest paid person who could perform such service.
And that's what the county does?
Yes, and then everything else is the same. I believe that's the only difference, was the 30 minutes versus the 15 minutes. The only other difference, I believe, when the cost exceeds $200, I believe they require the deposit in full, don't they? They don't require just a deposit of $50, correct?
That I'm not sure.
Okay. We have, when it's over $200 in our state law, you can require a deposit, and you could require a deposit of $200. We have here a deposit of $50 is required, so that's
Is
all.
that what the county requires?
No, we require the full amount.
Why don't we require that? I think we should.
You want to require the full $200?
Yes.
Okay, so we have,
I move approval with that amendment.
I'll second it.
okay, we have an amendment to this proposal. Everybody understand that amendment?
Could you please restate that?
I could restate the
Could
amendment.
you please restate that in layman's terms?
Sure. So under state law, if we estimate the cost and it's over $200, we can require a deposit. And so we'd be requiring a deposit of $200. That would be a credit toward the final charge.
Understood.
Okay. Anybody want to make that motion?
So, as amended.
Second.
Move, and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? No? Okay. We'll move to the next item regarding access to financial statements, First Bank and Trust.
I have a question, sir.
Okay?
I understand the first paragraph is to authorize Mr. Parsons and Mr. Snell to receive the account information to provide it. I'm not sure in the second paragraph what we are authorizing to execute documents to obtain financing. I didn't know that we wanted to authorize any
You
financing.
must have a different version than you. I don't know. Oh, you're saying
That's the
agenda
cover
sheet.
sheet.
Sorry, I was looking at the resolution.
This is the resolution here.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, for instance, we're still doing, we're not doing any draws right now on First Bank and Trust, but we are doing draws on the United Bank loan for the police department still. So basically, when a draw comes through, this would state that the chair and treasurer have to authorize all draws for any draws on the United Bank loan. I don't believe, are there any other loans that we're drawing on currently through United Bank or First Bank Trust or First Bank?
Not at First Bank, because those aren't open-ended.
Yeah.
That's just the one to the Stokes.
So that's the only bank where you actually do have to have United Bank.
So we could delete,
We could strike the language about that and just leave. the
not take withdrawing any
authorization.
money,
Right, and
then
then
just leave the authorization.
Yeah, you could do that.
For the other two.
So what the resolution would read, that first paragraph, undersigned, authorize the information to be released, is what you wanted.
Right, it's, the reason I left all that language in there was just, throughout the next fiscal year, if there would be a need.
Well, if we ever do a new loan, you'd have to have a new resolution of the board.
Right.
So you wouldn't be able to use this. Like if we were to borrow $1 million, you would have to have a new resolution stating the amount.
Okay, so this probably isn't, okay.
So what this will say is that we authorize Douglas J. Parsons, Executive Director, and Carolyn Stimmel to receive documents and statements from First Bank and Trust.
Right.
That's all it has to say.
For United and,
Just for First Bank, I'm doing one at a time, First Bank and Trust.
okay, so First Bank and Trust, we could strike that other language. yes.
So all of that, okay.
So that second paragraph, we'll leave that out.
Well, down to we authorize, we further authorize.
You're striking out the first sentence of the second
That's
paragraph.
right.
Currently, it means that they have the authorization to enter into financial arrangements, which is not good.
That's right, that's why we're fixing it. And we can do the same thing for First Bank, correct?
Yep.
Which is number 5.
Well, first we need a motion.
I want to make sure we know what we're doing here.
Okay.
And that's number 4 rather, and then the one that we'll talk about, the whole thing, is number 5.
That's right.
Okay. So I move approval of number 3 with that amendment of striking the first sentence in the second paragraph.
I'll second
The
that.
second, second sentence.
So we leave this sentence that authorizes them to
No, we
receive the
authorize.
information. And that's all it does. We take out.
Got it, okay, I just did the wrong one, got it, okay.
All right, everybody understand?
Yep.
Motion made and second, do we have a motion?
Yes.
Yes, and second.
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make the same amendment to 11-4 with First Bank.
Okay. I think we all understand how that changed. They're identical, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to accept this one
So moved.
with First Bank. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Who
Those
seconded it?
opposed?
Need a second.
No, I'm sorry, I thought we had.
I will second it.
Okay.
I could do it, sure.
He
Well,
made
I
a motion.
made a motion.
Yes, we need a second.
I second it.
And that's second. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay. Now we're on number 5. Resolution regarding loans and financial statements with United Bank.
So what does the first paragraph mean?
All disorganized. Do that one. Out of order. So basically what this is it would say Gray is chair and Dr. Pattison is treasurer, have to authorize all draws. So prior to this, United Bank was letting just the executive director authorize draws. So now any draws would require the authority of the two of them. And then, so we don't have more draws on the police department until I believe the town's doing the VRA summer fund.
So my question, if I go down to line 3, authorize all documents for the EDA I understand to authorize draws for any and all in purchases, refinances, other credit. Do we need to obtain financing? Or is
No,
it-
we already have financing.
So we can delete that. that section of the, because we're not authorizing them to go borrow money. We're authorizing them to make draws on the existing money.
Sure, and it requires approval by the EDA Board of Directors. So it says as approved by the board.
So we can deduct that portion.
That's fine.
So which part?
Which part now we talking about?
Where it says we authorize Greg Lampman, Dr. Patterson to execute all, to authorize, we're gonna delete from any and all, down to
So you just want to say authorized draws?
authorized draws,
Okay.
except so you can draw, you approve the draws on existing financing. It's not new financing.
It didn't take out for all and any land purchases, refinance, lines of credit, bond finance.
Correct, we're not taking out any new things.
So we're taking all that out.
We're authorizing them to make draws.
Just as approved by the EDA Board of Directors? Right.
Yeah, that's approved by the EDA Board of Directors.
To authorize draws as approved by the EDA Board of Directors.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, everybody understand that one? Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Have a motion and one second?
Second, you want second?
Sure, I'll second it.
Okay. Motion and a second. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Okay. Resolution to approve tech zone incentives to Queen Consulting and Technology. Not sure I fully understand.
What does that exactly do?
Well, that approves their getting the tech zone incentives, and Dan helped me here, that's.
So basically, since they're located downtown and they're in the town technology zone,
Look over on the backside. And it tells you page one of this one that you just gave me.
so the last time we did this was with AG Laser. We was in the Happy Creek Technology Zone. So we pass a resolution first, and then it goes to the town and county, and there's incentives you can get to the town and county under their respective ordinances for being in the tech zone. So that the first step is that they fill out an application, and then we, the EDA passes the resolution, and then we send it on to the town and county. So this is similar to the resolution for AG Laser, correct? Yes.
I'm all for approval, but I couldn't find the resolution.
It was in the packet, I have it. I can give you a copy of it.
Oh my, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't know.
What trade?
Here,
Yeah, there's a resolution somewhere.
Yeah. here's my version.
Is this it?
Yeah,
Right here.
okay, he's got it, okay, I can see it. Thank you. I think it was fine, I just didn't see the resolution.
I had a quick question on it while you're reading. Any conflict of interest concerns, was this done as a arm's length dealing since Queen Consulting is our IT firm?
Yeah, I mean, basically they met all the criteria for the tech zone incentives. So we do obviously have a contract with them for website services and other IT services. So I guess we can disclose that as as part of the resolution that we do have that contract with them. But I mean, any business of this type, we would offer the same technologies and incentives. Plus, the incentives actually will be coming through the town and the county, so we can just make the town and county aware that we do have a contract with Queen Consulting.
I suggest then we just amend the resolution to include the acknowledgement that we have a contractual relationship with them.
Sure, that makes sense.
Okay.
I want to ask a quick question. It seems like we're just basically the application conduit, so they can receive the money through the town or entity.
Yeah, that's required under the county code that the DEA kind of pass a resolution first
Understood.
before they consider it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, everybody understand the resolution? Is there a motion to approve
As amended,
as amended with acknowledgement that that is employed by us? Yes.
So I can read the code section real quickly. So determination of eligibility should be made by the board action of the EDA, the administrator of the program. Upon approval, the EDA shall submit a written report to the Warren County Director of Finance. This is for Warren County's side of such determination, and include therein the name and address, the qualified business, the description, and the incentives for which the business is qualified. So this, since this is in the town, it'll go to the town and the county.
Okay.
Okay. Motion amended and second. Anyone?
Who made the motion?
Have a second, yeah.
I will. Did you make one?
Second?
And
Second.
there's a second. Bruce.
Seconded it.
Any further discussion? Questions?
Is it any penalty, say after 2 years, they don't meet the criteria?
Let's see, so the criteria is they have to have a total investment of $3,000 and at least 2 new jobs created at 2 times the minimum wage.
No, but it has the scale in there that to do it full amount for 5 years and then it decreases to 80, 70, 60. Well, my question is there, do you just fail to do it at all if they don't meet the criteria any longer?
So my understanding is if they don't meet the criteria, then the program would end. And they have to continue to pay their taxes as well. They have to be current on their taxes.
Usually they have to submit something each year showing that they continue their certification of quality.
What is the value of the grant?
Let's see, you get a $500 grant for like permits, for local permits and fees. And then you also get a business B-poll tax credit, which is over 10 years. And then basically it depreciates each, starts at 100% and then goes down to 20% by the 10th year. And then also, we can do cash grants, but that would be up to the town and county if they want to do a cash grant.
Does anybody monitor the governance of this program?
What do you mean?
I'm sorry?
What do you mean?
They've applied for the program. It's eligible for up to 10 years. I think it kind of hinges on what Dr. Pattison said. After 5 years, if they're not meeting the criteria, who's to determine?
As a rule, they have to submit each year a very brief minimal report. And I don't know all the town procedures, but that's the normal procedure.
So they do it to the town and not to us? We don't have to
So the
monitor.
county procedures, we actually have an agreement. So for like AG Laser, we have an agreement with them that details all the incentives. And it states in the agreement they have to pay their taxes, they have to show a certification of the jobs and the investment. And all that, so all that's actually laid out in that agreement. I imagine the town does something similar.
I would expect so. And then there's each year where they submit a little report, one page and say, now we got 2 people.
Okay, Tom, your question answered?
Yes, sir.
All those in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Move on to regarding signing invoices. I see accounts payable.
So this is the resolution that states that 2 officers, the chair, vice chair, or treasurer, so 2 of those 3 officers have to sign all invoices. So before they're submitted to the county for payment under our fiscal agency agreement. So basically Gretchen will code the invoices and then 2 of the 3 officers will sign the invoices and then they'll be sent over to the county finance department to be paid out of EDA funds. So there'll be a separate checking account set up at the treasurer's office. And money will come out of those funds to pay the
I'm
invoices.
gonna go through,
Yeah, you can go through the procedure.
I will move for approval. So we can get a motion.
Okay.
so this is the process that we identified working with Carolyn and Dan and the finance department and Jody at HR at the county. So for expenses, Gretchen or the administrative assistant would receive bills and code them, then get signature of approval by 2 of the following EDA board officers, chairman, vice chair, and/or treasurer. We must have the bills that we want paid to the county by the 5th of each month. County Finance will prepare a list of accounts for Board of Supervisor approval during the second regularly scheduled Board of Supervisors meeting each month. Any questions about the accounts payable should be addressed to the director of the EDA. The county will mail out the checks. Invoices will be retained and scanned by the EDA. And then the administrative assistant will record expenses in a journal and post county forms and deposit slips. For deposits, the administrative assistant will bring coded checks to the treasurer's office for deposit. The county will make the deposits in the appropriate account, and the AA will continue to keep records in QuickBooks. And then just a few other notes. The EDA will manage the tracking of payments for the USDA loans and shall notify legal counsel if collection procedures are necessary. The county will establish a separate cash bank account for the EDA funds, with EDA funds. Our current contract accountant, Heather Tweedy with Hoddle and Willis, will help Gretchen, the AA, with transition until such time that Gretchen is comfortable in doing those duties on her own. Heather will do the 1099s and W-2s for the first half of calendar year 19, and then the county will do the 1099s and the W-2s after July 1st of 2019. Regularly reoccurring payables, such as utilities, to be made as often as weekly outside of the normal monthly check run, as the Board of Supervisors is granted authority for such regular reoccurring county accounts payable. Special check requests will be with the approval of the EDA director and 2 of the 3 above named directors.
What's
That's
that?
what we have here also. Special check request that would not fall within the county or Board of Supervisors' normal pay period would need approval from myself.
Could we have a copy of that? That's not in the resolution.
Right, that's not in the resolution. This is still draft because we're still kind of.
Yeah, we were working on it last night, so.
Yeah, well, this is just what we have so far. I just
And
kind of
then we could
presented.
have a copy of the procedures.
Okay.
How do we get, how do you get, since you're paying once a month, how do you schedule these bills that we owe, on loans and stuff that are coming in all the time? They don't just come in once a month. I mean, some of them come in on the 16th and some of them on the 28th and whatever. How do you can you switch the payment some way on those so you get them all on the same schedule?
You would just have to get a special check cut from the county. So when talking to the finance director, if we have like a set schedule of special checks, we can just submit those and then they'll know it's a recurring payment, whether it's the 6th or the 15th.
Okay.
So you have, like for instance, like utility bills, you have to pay, like, sometimes it's once a week. So once we have that set schedule, then we'll give all those and they'll know to pay those on those dates.
And who decides how much money we give them for, to set up that separate account? Has that been discussed?
I think we're still determining how much seed money they need to start it out. So we haven't come to a determination. I think we just have to look through our payables from the last month and figure out how much needs to be in there.
And that'll come back to the board later.
What's that?
I'm sure, yeah.
This account will come back to the board to approve.
To show how much is being paid each month?
No, we're creating a special account that's going to be outside the county.
No, we need to approve that today because they start paying invoices July 1st.
But we don't know how much to approve.
Grab Carolyn and bring her and see if she knows. I think they are working on those numbers. We didn't have that when we met on whatever day that was, Wednesday, Thursday.
Because this resolution doesn't say anything about it.
And also,
That was something we needed to add, we were adding, because we were still working on how much was needed.
will Doug get a copy of the bank statement and the special bank statement so you'll know exactly what's being written on that too?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get a copy from the county of the interim check run report, and then also, the regular report of all the checks run, we'll get that on a monthly basis. So Carolyn, can you explain how much seed money will be needed for this bank account, where the county will pay over the payments July 1st? Because Ed made a good point that the EDA probably needs to approve transferring that money over to the county treasurer to set up that account. Because I know Jamie's treasurer is working on setting up that account to start on Monday, making payments.
I don't know that you would need, you might want to put in enough to like cover like the first month's bills or something. Would that seem reasonable?
Do you have any idea how much that is? Yeah. I mean, I guess we could
What's this account for?
pay all checks. Every account payable is coming out of this account.
Operating.
Remember, the county's taking over as fiscal agent,
Right.
so they're paying every single
They're
check
paying everything.
with EDA money, not their money.
Right.
So we have to put
Right,
enough
they're
money
paying-
in there.
But all the checks go through the county.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all the deposits
They're
will
all
go
the
to the county
deposits. So what's this account for?
to pay the check, to pay the invoices.
The deposits will go into this bank account for the EDA, and the checks will be drawn out of it.
So why does, if all the deposits
Yes.
and all the expenditures are at the county, why wouldn't all the money be there?
Because there's no money there right now, but they gotta start writing checks July 1st on Monday.
Okay.
So we need some seed money in there to start. So right now the balance
So
is
where
zero
does the seed money come from?
from our operating account, our United Bank.
Can't we transfer the operating account to the county?
Well, no, it has to be through the county's bank, which is in
Well,
Atlantic Union, right?
Or you can go from bank A to bank B?
Yeah, you
You're
can
saying
transfer all.
transfer the whole amount?
Yeah, but I thought they were gonna keep all the money, there was gonna be no more money out there. The way I understood it, and that was what we started working on.
Well,
in January.
we have some CDs in our name, they'll stay in our name.
Well, when they come due, they would go to
Yeah,
the
and
county.
then we also have the IRP loan. I guess we'd have to check with, I guess.
account.
That should be separate, I think USDA's don't require that account to stay in EDA's name.
I think we ought to be transferring anything that we can to the county accounts.
If we're not gonna write checks anymore.
But we can transfer the whole United account
Exactly.
over to,
Sure. We need a resolution.
And the first
Well,
just a motion, not a resolution.
And the first bank?
and the first bank?
And first,
First bank, yeah.
Yeah, I move that we do it.
second,
That was easy.
We need a motion to
All you
accept.
had to do was come in and say all of it.
11/7.
motion and second.
We need a.
Alright.
And then we need a motion on
What we did.
11/7 itself.
the signing of the resolution.
Do this vote first?
That's fine, we can do this one first. Yeah, we can do it.
All right, now, a motion and a second, for this resolution,
Well, no, the motion and the second was to transfer the accounts to the
Transfer.
county.
okay, now, we've decided all the money's transferred.
Just
That's
the,
the
no,
motion.
just the United Bank account and the
Just-
first bank.
United
Okay, yeah.
Operating Account.
It's first
The
bank.
checking account.
I don't know, I honestly, I haven't worked with the
You have a
cash that
sheet?
much, so I don't know exactly where all of the cash is.
Hey, Doug, you just had that sheet.
There's a sheet
It's in
in
there.
your packets there that shows our balances and our cash accounts.
Yeah. So United Banking currently has $1,736,000 and change. First Bank has $287,278 and change. So those would be the two bank accounts that we transfer over to the county.
Yes.
We would keep the United Bank IRP account, which is the USDA loan account. And we'd keep the United CD and the two United CDs and the EDA's name. Until they mature, then we would transfer them over to the county.
So it's about $2 million.
Yep.
Okay, we know the amount, and we have the resolution in a second, and any further questions? We know what we're doing now, right?
Do we know what the costs are going to be to the PPA for having the county do that this year?
About 75.
7,500 a year.
All right, all those in favor of the resolution, say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Well, we're vote, that was the vote on the motion, right?
Vote on the motion.
Now we're voting
Now
on
we're
the
gonna
motion.
vote on the resolution, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think we know what that resolution is. Any questions, any comments? Well, let's see, I guess somebody's got
Motion to
a
approve.
motion to approve. So, second, and a second. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay.
Right, I think you should have a voice vote on the $2 million transfer that everybody should put on the record.
I think we can do that. We've called, Tom Patterson's called for a voice vote on the transfer of the two accounts, United Bank checking, First Bank checking, in the amount of approximately $2 million.
Addison, aye.
Harold, aye.
Browne,
Daley, aye.
Black and aye. Okay, we have that.
Mr. Chairman, the only other item I have is we need a motion to nominate a FOIA officer. Under the state code, each political subdivision needs a FOIA
Don't we
officer.
have a procurement policy?
Oh, we have that too. Okay, we can do that one first, that's fine.
Okay,
Isn't that your
last,
resolution?
11-8.
Your packet's a little different than what I was emailed, so I don't have that.
I said 8.
Oh, okay, no worries, sorry. I don't know
All
that.
right, policy for procurement.
That reflects the county policy.
It does. The changes would be instead of county administrator, it's executive director, instead of finance director, it's treasurer, and instead of board of supervisors, it's board of directors. Are the main changes.
The only comment I was gonna make is you might check with the county to see if they have an account with EVA.
Oh, you didn't make my changes
That
there.
lets us
And I take email
advertise
too.
things statewide.
Yeah.
And you get proposals all through the Department of General Services.
Can you print out my
Probably
changes?
have one now. So you can just tag each one. It lets us advertise things that way. I would move approval.
Of the motion to adopt procurement policy.
The only thing, she didn't get my changes in the version y'all have.
Okay.
So
Withdraw until I see it.
what I put in there, so on the back, you'll see the exception language. What I did is I referenced the actual state code next to each exception, just for clarity.
Okay.
And instead of Commonwealth Virginia current contracts, I said cooperative procurement, because also we may use cooperative procurement when you go under like national purchasing agencies like NJPA, and or if you go like off another county's contract. So that was the other change I made. So
With those changes, I would motion approval.
Okay, does everybody understand that motion? Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll wait for Gretchen to get back. Well,
who made the motion? Who made you seconded? Who made the motion? Bruce did.
all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay.
And so the last item was FOIA officer. We have to nominate a FOIA officer. So I think it would make sense for Gretchen to be the FOIA officer. Basically, she would respond to all FOIA requests. And so we just need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of Gretchen being our officer, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Now, we had,
Yes, sir. I would like to make a motion authorizing the chair to arrange a joint work session with Front Royal Town Council and the Warren County Board of Supervisors for the purpose of discussing future activities and responsibilities of the Economic Development Authority. The chair is further authorized to convene a work session of the EDA board and staff in preparation for this.
you mean a joint meeting
First, we have our meeting, and then we would have a joint meeting. So
With
two
both?
meetings.
Oh, 2 meetings,
Yeah.
one with council, one with board.
No, one meeting of ourselves.
Yeah.
Preparation, and then a meeting joint, either way, whichever, however you say it.
I'll still do it. Yeah, we're gonna do a work session.
The only thing you can do
We
is say
can
no,
try,
the
yeah.
county will come.
Hey, Doug, did you find out about the retreat? I know last year the board did a retreat, if y'all were gonna do that again, and I know you talked about you wanted to do
This will allow the chair to arrange that.
Yeah, so you'll arrange the retreat, and then you'll have a joint work session after y'all have your retreat.
Yep.
Now, so last time we had a joint work session, we did at the community center with the town council and board supervisors. We all sat around a big table and had some fruit and cheese and then talked. So, it seemed to work
That's what
well.
we're coming for, fruit and juice for lunch.
Something else to
Bring right now.
consider would be to have, Joe Hines come up and give a presentation at some point.
Yeah.
Because I think he could explain and he's very articulate and he'll come up, he already told me that at
Oh, he did?
the state
Okay.
meeting.
All
It
right.
was with the Timmons Group, which was the lead engineering firm for the vision, or the VDP tier process.
And isn't one of the other two firms working over here?
Well, the subcontracts for that,
Yeah.
site characterization process are with Draper, Aiden, and Dewberry. So I've been working with those engineers a little bit along with the utilities here in the county and the town.
Which one does the county work with?
Well, the county, I mean, a lot of the work with the county, like for instance, Leach Run Parkway is with Panoni.
No, it was one of the the economic development site people that Doug Stanley said the county frequently works with.
Oh, that's Draper, Aiden.
Okay.
That's Draper, Aiden. That's a lady named Deborah Filippo.
Yeah.
She's also on the board of directors for the State Economic Development Partnership.
Yes, that's who. So either one of them would be fine.
So, does everybody understand that, resolution?
I don't understand that resolution. Are you talking about a recurring meeting?
No,
Monthly
right
basis?
now, I'm talking about this is a
An
one-time,
ad hoc meeting.
yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion, anyone want to second it?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, we had,
I have a motion requesting staff to prepare notebooks for all EDA members containing summaries of all individual projects and properties that the EDA is involved with that will be updated regularly. The notebook should include a property of the project financing, how it will be paid for, who are the participants in the projects, and other relevant information, so that we can look, when we're talking about a property, we can open the book and look at it. And I know Gretchen's already working on something like this.
yeah, that's something we've asked for a year. We didn't get it from Jennifer either.
So I think that's a great idea. That's what I call it a project charter. And that basically memorializes all of the players, the intent of the project, so we can go back and remind ourselves, why did we do this?
And everybody gets their own book, just on it.
Everybody has their own book.
Okay, I agree. That's a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay.
And my third motion, maybe a little bit redundant to it, is requesting staff to prepare a summary outline format that we can use for all properties and projects that would tell us a description of the project, would tell us the parties involved, and what the responsibility of each party is, and a discussion of how that project is financed, and then other pertinent items, and a signature from somebody, from everybody, each agency that's involved. So that example we've talked about, Leach Run, everybody who was involved in each one would have a little copy of this sheet that says who's gonna do what throughout the project, and they'd all sign off on it. And then that would go in our notebook, so that we could look and say, well, this is why we're in the Stokes building, because this group, whomever, asked us to do it. And it would be right there in writing with their signature.
I like everything you said, except that it's gonna be controlled by the original agreement. And maybe if we left it informally, let them review it, have them check off or something. But to have them sign it and then have that potentially be something that would be in writing that was agreed to, might change and alter the agreement.
And we might want to change them at any time. But I think we need something, example being the Stokes building. The board, as I understand it, was told on numerous occasions that the town had requested us to move forward on that project. The town never formally did anything or requested it, and no one from the town says, well, I asked the EDA to do this. So therefore, the EDA sits out there on that project, and nobody says why we're there. And so this doesn't bind them, it just says, this is our intent, we want you to do this project. We want you to do one of the projects out here on this site, and we're gonna help finance whatever. But it just kind of outlines the rules of what we're playing by, so that somebody 10 years from now can go back and look and say, this is why they did whatever they did.
It's almost like a memorandum of understanding.
Very outlined format, but some kind of a minimum memo. It's in the file that everybody can just look at.
Well, if that's something you can do, Doug, that sounds good to me.
Absolutely.
Some of that is redundant.
Yes.
I wonder it's a lot of work for Gretchen and Doug. I wonder if somehow you could consolidate the two, or if not, at least prioritize the first two.
I anticipate this being consolidated into one notebook.
Okay,
And
yes.
so they're only gonna put the sheet in there once on the Stokes property.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So I think what Ed might, and this is what I do in my industry, it's a project notebook, it's a charter, and then you have what we call a racing matrix, which is a responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. And in that matrix, you have all the activities and all the events, and who's actually responsible, accountable, consulted, who needs to be consulted, who needs to be informed. Right? So it's very clear as to what role each individual has in any particular task. And it takes out not all of the ambiguity. It takes out a lot of the ambiguity. Keep in mind, the charter is an evolving document. I mean, it does change. It's not static, but it does change, and it does provide for a history of any particular project that the EDA takes on by itself or by request of the entity.
We would have had that over here with Mr. Tran's project. We would know everything that was involved and who was doing what throughout.
I can be very helpful to you on that.
Okay. Sounds great.
I don't mind doing
You
it.
have some
I
information.
don't mind doing something on that. That's-
Okay, so we have a motion for a memorandum of understanding with each project and who made the commitment, the responsibility. Okay, I can understand that, that would be good. Everybody else understand that, or? All right, we have a resolution, we have a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay.
So I had an agenda item, but I think I'm going to table it due to the time constraint. And quite frankly, Mr. Daly had discussed a portion of it in his motions, but next month I will be rolling out or re-presenting the operations development plan, and it really kind of piggybacks on what Mr. Daly has presented here. I'm just going to put it in a little bit more formal presentation, but just for the sake of time, I don't want to discuss that today. So.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I think we've done everything. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning?